Shimmy Shakers, welcome to Belly Dancer Diaries and to today's tutorial, which is all about floor work. I know a lot of you have requested this, so today I'm going to give you my 7 tips to get beautiful floor work, and I'm also going to go through the reality of using floor work in your routines. So make sure you watch to the end so that you get all this to bring floor work into your next performance. Okay, tip number 1 is how to come to the floor. Firstly, it really helps if you keep your heels up. So as you come down, if you feel a little bit off balance, you can bring one foot in front and then keep your body up nice and tall, coming straight down. If your heels are on the floor, you're going to find it very hard to keep your body straight up. That's why you want to try and keep your heels up, coming straight down. If your balance is really good, you can keep your feet parallel, but this will be a little bit harder just to keep the balance. Try not to lean all the way forward. It doesn't look nearly as elegant if you're coming down to the floor going versus, yeah, nice. Okay, the other thing when you're coming down is use something to distract your audience. So don't just be focusing on coming down to the floor. It's really nice if you're doing a move, especially an upper body move while you're doing it. You can do your nice snake arms to come down, or you can do a shoulder shimmy, or you can do hip movements, and if you do hip movements, use a hip movement that is coming downwards. You could try doing something that comes up, but I find it really messes with my mind when I'm trying to go up and down at the same time. So you can go into your Maya. That's really beautiful to come down, or you can do like little hip circles, or you could do your Sohiyazaki step. Yeah, so that's nice dynamic way to come to the floor. Okay, what about when we're on the floor? How is it comfortable to sit? You can stay here with your knees up, or you can bring both knees down to the floor, especially if you're going to be in this position for a little bit longer. You might feel more comfortable coming down. Okay, tip number 2 is to use your hair. Floor work is really popular in Kaliji dancing, and Kaliji is all about using the hair. So the history of it is, it comes from kind of the Gulf areas, and when their men were getting ready to go to war, the women would show their hair and do these dances with their hair. Your hair over to the side, you have to use momentum with this one. So if you have a bad neck, please don't do any of these hair moves. Otherwise, you're dropping your head to the side. You can do a little pulse to the side, and then other side. Pulse, 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 pulse. Very, very authentic. Okay, next tip number 3 is to use your upper body. So some really nice shoulder shimmies look great here. You can turn your torso side to side doing your shoulder shimmies. You can also do your really nice chest slides or chest circles. So lots of moves for you there. Next one is to use your hips. So when you're using your hips when you're on the floor, obviously we can't use our knees because our knees are on the floor. So we have to use our horizontal movements instead. It's very hard to do like a vertical figure 8 in this position unless you're really, really strong through your core. But otherwise you can come really beautifully into a horizontal figure 8, a really nice circle. Even a twist looks really good in this position. Okay, next one is how to come back up. So when you're coming back up, if you've got both knees on the floor, you can either tuck your feet under and then just gently come back up. Again, try and distract your audience with another move, for example, a shoulder shimmy as you come up. So they're focusing more here rather than, oh, what's she doing with her feet? Or if you have one foot in front, you can use that to come straight up. Okay, next tip is all about your knees. If you have bad knees or you feel uncomfortable coming to the floor, then there's a few tips that I can give you. Firstly, keep your feet a little bit wider so you have that really strong balance, and then when you come down you can even stay here. You don't have to bring your knees to the floor. Second tip is, I don't know if you noticed, but oh yes, I'm wearing a brace on my knee. I just want to test if you guys notice. So you can actually have padding on your knee depending on your costume, bringing yourself down to the floor. The other thing is, if you find it is difficult for you to stay on the floor because it hurts your knees with the pressure of the floor, it might be because your kneecap is out of alignment. And if that's the case, you can strengthen the muscles through here to bring your knee back into alignment so it doesn't hurt you as much. So if that sounds like you, please go and see a physio. They'll help you, give you proper exercises. The other thing that you can do, of course, is just have one knee up, one on the floor. So this is like a halfway where your knee is on the floor, the other one is up, keeping you nice and stable. Okay, so what is the reality of using floor work? I have to admit, I hardly ever use floor work, and there are a couple of reasons why. Firstly, floor work is so beautiful when it's slow and luscious and dynamic. And often if you're dancing at a party, people don't necessarily want that kind of energy. They want something fun and upbeat. They don't necessarily want you to be bringing down the move, even though it looks really, really good. The main reason though why I don't do floor work is because you have to make sure the floor is really clean. You have to be at a venue that you trust. If you come to a restaurant that you haven't been to before, you don't know if someone's spilt something on the floor or if there's broken glass on the floor. For the same reason, I'd always wear shoes as well. And you don't want to get your costume ruined. You don't want to cut your knees. That would be terrible. So in reality, only use this one if you know the venue is really clean. You're not going to hurt yourself. You're not going to damage your costume. So there you go. There are my tips on floor work. Did any of them resonate with you? Let me know in the comments what you learned, or if you have any other questions, or if you have other tips to share with everyone so we can all benefit. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you share with your friends, and happy dancing.